Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, push through and rise, rise. They will remember you. Rise. Welcome to the climb up, reach for the summit. Visions pray the one false step lead the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise. They will remember you. It is you fight among the dead beneath the dirt. Do you know yet? Or do you want it? And when the giants call to ask you what you're worth, do you know it? We don't die. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise, rise. They will remember you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Pick up your weapon and face it.
Are we gonna rise? Prove ourselves and rise?
I want to see the teams rise up and give us some good games.
That right
No
there
blowouts.
leads into our first matchup. That will be Mikasa Dudes versus Cloud9. And I think this is going to be a really exciting matchup, Proden, for a couple of reasons. The first is we talked last week about how Mikasa Dudes likes to aggress. They're very talented in their micro, and so they can play really aggressive. But we watched Cloud9 try and innovate and try and deal with what Keep Your Summoners was bringing in there. We saw the tier start on the Sivir and things like that.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
So what happens when those two styles clash, where someone wants to play aggressive and the other team really is good at trying to figure things out and adapt?
If the team who's aggressive can use that aggression early, I think, to get ahead, it can be hard for the other team if they're not good at countering those aggressive acts. So like an aggressive team, you need to counter their aggression. Or you need to not, they're going to be aggressive, so don't put yourself in a situation because you know they're going to all in on you, right?
For sure.
So you have to look to counter them. It's like a counter puncher, right? He's not necessarily going to punch you right away. He's going to wait for you to make that mistake, and then he's going to pop you in the jaw.
Okay. So do we see any of that today, or do you think that Mikasa dudes have taken the learning from the last couple of games where they have pushed out a little too far and their aggression has been punished by macro?
I don't know. I know those guys are very aggressive, and that's how they always play. And they're like, I think they're more like a feast or famine. So if they get ahead, they just feast. They feast.
That is true.
And they don't necessarily change when they're from behind. They still push it. They push. They'll take fights that they shouldn't.
Okay.
But that's just their play style. They're very aggressive. They want to make things happen.
Agreed. And speaking of happening, we have draft up here for you, everybody. It looks like we've gone pretty far in, and Proden, you seem disappointed with at least one of those bans.
Yes. Stop. Don't ban Viego.
But there's a good reason why it is banned.
Cause
I want to talk about actually an adjustment from Mikasa dudes. Look at that. They want the Anivia for Mr. One Bear, but they banned the Hecarim instead of the Udyr.
so far they're playing right into how Anivia wants. Like, Anivia is a great champ against Olaf. That's a perfect pick for Mikasa dudes. Like, you just put the wall in front of your team, Olaf can't aggress. So if he pops that ult, you just put the wall in front and you just make him run around it, and then his ult's down, and he's not as scary anymore.
Agreed. And so I like this adaptation from Mikasa dudes. I really like not seeing the Udyr being banned. We talked a lot about that last time, probably too much.
I like seeing the Hecarim banned too.
Yeah,
he just jives through the wall and CCs the team, and then
exactly.
I mean, like we saw it last week. Right?
Exactly. But talk to me about the Lucian pick for Cloud9, because that one is actually really interesting to me.
I assume it's going to go mid. That's where you normally see Lucian is mid now.
Okay.
He can lane bully Anivia pretty early, and then he can still dash over the wall. I mean, of course, if Anivia gets, he can win. But Lucian, he wants to bully you so much that he gets a lead that you don't have the damage to stop his all-ins on you.
Right.
So if a Lucian lane goes right, he gets a good lead on you, and you just can't do anything against him, right? I mean, of course, Anivia can scale to late game, but he wants to get ahead of you to where you don't get to scale, and he can just keep you out.
Speaking of scaling, let's talk about Cho'Gath here. Probably going to be in the hands of Mono in the top side. And Cho'Gath is actually, in my opinion, one of the most terrifying champions in the game because of his infinite health scaling, the fact that his damage on his ult is health-based, and especially with the recent changes in the items, there are so many opportunities to just get so much health.
Gargoyle Stoneplate was made for
Exactly.
Cho'Gath.
Exactly.
Cho'Gath's a really strong champ in the top lane. At least last patch it was. I don't know if anything's really changed in this patch. I don't imagine it has because everything's kind of the same-ish in top lane right now. There's not too big changes. They did buff Stridebreaker, which is excellent for those who use it, but I don't think that necessarily pushes Cho'Gath out from where he was at.
I don't think so either. He's too beefy.
Yeah.
But surprising pick is the Neeko. Like, we assume that Olaf's in the jungle and Lucian's going to probably go mid. So then is this the Hu-He Neeko support?
I would, I'm thinking it might go top. I mean, based on their next, I'm assuming it might be top because Neeko's really good against melee champions in the top, even if they're tanky, especially early. She just autos you down really, really fast. It's hard to do anything. I mean, it could be a support pick, though.
It could also be mid and Lucian going bottom. Like, I like the flexibility that Cloud9 has drafted so far. Neeko is unpredictable at the moment. Lucian probable, but not anything really sure. But then there is also the pinching of the support position there with the Pyke, Leona, Thresh earlier.
And they did ban out the Gnar, which would have been really good into Cho'Gath because of the percent health damage.
Okay. Well, Galio locked in. That's probably actually going to be mid, and that means Lucian's in the bottom.
Or support.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, see, this flexibility. But, okay, Proden, Rel is scary. I realized that just reading her abilities and not playing her did not work for me. So I saved up my blue essence, I bought her, and she's busted.
I suck with her. Or maybe it's because I can't get ADCs to follow it on me when I get the engage.
I don't know. Either way, she's busted. It's going to be a lot of fun to see that one. Ezreal, the final pick for Mikasa dudes.
It's a very safe bottom lane.
Mm-hmm.
If Lucian does go bottom, I mean, he can bully Ezreal early because he's a lane bully. That's why you have him go mid, because he bullies mages early. And if you get ahead of him to where before they can burst you out. Oh, no, we're going to have Caitlyn. So that could be Caitlyn Nico, bottom.
No, I think you're right about the Nico going top. Just the third hit being extra damage. You remember the meta used to be first picking Nico
the
top.
On-hit top Nico, but they've been usually going AP with their top and just trying to do more burst on them earlier because you can CC them really well.
That's true with the Tangle Barbs.
Yeah. I don't know. So you could actually have Galio or Nico going bottom or mid. But I'm gonna say Nico's most likely top.
And we're gonna find out here as we get into the client draft. We're gonna see the exact same things that we did before, so there won't be a lot of surprises except the order the champions for Cloud9 will be in. And I'm happy with that surprise, but I'm also happy with the not surprise that Jimmy Boobjob is going to be playing Jarvan again. I love seeing good Jarvan play, and I think JBJ has done a good job piloting him so far this series.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what build if he's going to go. If he's going to go more of that bruiser build we saw last time, or if he's going to do the full tank, just dive in on your team and not die right away Jarvan.
Right. I don't know. It's interesting because you would think that you would want a little bit more tank because you have Anivia in the mid lane, which provides a lot of good crowd control and damage in and of itself.
And he can just hold, like if someone doesn't have flash, you dive in with that Cataclysm and Anivia drops her Storm on top, you just sit there and get melted. So it's a really good combination.
I agree. And so you would think it would be tank, but at the same time, Cho'Gath is so beefy that do you just let him be the lone frontliner and deal all the damage and be Assassin Jarvan?
I guess it depends if he snowballs. If he doesn't snowball, you probably want to go tanky or release Bruiser. I don't think you're going to see like a armor pin.
No, not with the you go Eclipse into Black Cleaver.
Yeah,
and
I mean, unless he
Dominic's.
snowballs super hard where he can actually just one-shot Lucian or Nico or anything like that, I would suspect he'll probably go Bruiser or tank.
And I was actually just thinking while watching this part of the draft that Anivia isn't the only counter to the Olaf here because Jarvan also has terrain builds.
Yeah.
And that you just Cataclysm onto Olaf and then EQ out of there and you know, he's just kind of stuck. Maybe unstoppable to crowd control and such, but
I think the silence will be good on him too as he runs. He does run in, you silence him, and he's not going to be able to use his abilities right away. So you've got a couple seconds, you can just dish some damage onto him, hoping that ult runs out. Once his ult runs out, he's not as effective because he doesn't have the move speed, but his tankiness drops off. So.
All right, so we do get the order here. Both teams are just about finished locking in, and that will be the Nico in the top side like we predicted. It is Lucian in the middle. I noticed there's a lot of attack damage right there in the middle three champions for Cloud9, but the offset would be the Nico because if she is going to go that AP like you were talking about, that will be a huge magic damage threat.
Yeah, she'll definitely go burst, I would say, with the because they have with Lucian and Caitlyn, you have more than enough sustained damage. So I would definitely think Nico's going to go more of a burst build. I mean, I could be wrong, but although I don't, if Cho'Gath does get ahead, I mean, Nico's burst build like doesn't do anything to him. I've played Nico against a Cho'Gath that was fed, and you pretty much just tickle him the whole time.
And that's not what
really
you
do anything to him.
No, you don't want to tickle a giant void monster. That's not how this is supposed to work. But now let's also talk about then the bottom lane because Caitlyn and Ezreal, two of the longest range. Let's say they are because Ezreal typically farms with that Mystic Shot more than his actual auto attacks, which has that increased range. But then Caitlyn having the longest base range of any marksman means that she can also stand back pretty safe.
Yeah, I think unless someone's in Galio or Rel or just hard engaging someone who's mispositioned, you're probably not going to see a lot of fighting. Well, I mean, normally you wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I think anything it's probably going to be. I mean, Caitlyn can stand back and be all right. I mean, she's probably a little less safe than Ezreal is, but she's still super safe. because Ezreal doesn't even have to walk up to auto if he doesn't want to.
Exactly.
It's not normally how people play him, but I mean, you might see some engages on Rel or Galio, because then Caitlyn, if a Galio gets a taunt, you can probably just put a trap right underneath you at that point.
Yeah.
You trap. I think most likely we'll see Fortnite Aimer farm it up early unless they can get some engages. Maybe wait till Jarvan comes down and then she'll all in with Jarvan. Might be the play they make and just farm safely until then. It's going to be really hard for Olaf to really kill an Ezreal. Like, you can kill Rel. Early you can get to Anivia. Later on, if Anivia's walls up, you're not really going to run in at her like we saw with Udyr a couple weeks ago. So. And then, so I would suspect if he's gonna gank bot, it'll be early, maybe or mid. But I think he might focus top and mid early and mid. It just depends what they want to play too, because both the bottom lanes can just scale up, and they're harder to gank for early for him.
So that's going to be Essence Reaver into Duskblade for Ezreal. That's been the most popular that we've seen in the LCS. I think we've seen it even here on the GameTyrant stream. But I want to talk to you about the Caitlyn build, because you and I have a friend named Crash Course, and he has this weird Caitlyn build that is not typical. He rushes the Collector into Prowler's Claw and then builds Lord Dominic's with the Dark Harvest rune.
Interesting.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I was in this game, and I watched this happen. He ulted a Lux with full hit points, who cast her Prismatic Barrier, and that ultimate literally one-shot her.
Did he have a bunch of stacks on his Dark Harvest?
Yeah. We're talking 20-something minutes in the game, and he also had Serpent's Fang, so it ate the shield and dealt an additional 50 damage.
Yeah.
But regardless, think about that. It was a single spell from absurd range, one shot, killed it. And I just watched a video of him playing that same build where he just got this pentakill because no one could get close enough, because every time he shot them, they had stepped on traps and stuff, and it dealt so much
did you show
damage.
Me the headshot? Was it you showed me a headshot video of Caitlyn one-shotting headshot somebody? Like, they just stepped up, and it was her,
it was the same build.
It was like a 2,000 something crit, and it
was
one-shot him for full health.
It was that same game. And that's exactly what happened. We were pushing on the inhibitor. Their only source of damage was Tristana. And he stepped a little too close. That friend Crash Course on the Caitlyn flash autoed because he had the headshot stacked up, and it killed her. Just one shot from full to
nothing. That'd be interesting if
nothing.
they do play that build.
I don't know that they will. It's a very uncommon thing, but let's cross our fingers that we see it soon, because it's really funny.
And then how does it perform against like tankier people like Olaf? And
dude, third item is Lord Dominic's. You just break right through whatever they build, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. I would assume in this, though, you're going to see Nico probably bullying Cho'Gath
at least
the
early,
start. And if he doesn't get too far behind, eventually he gets to the point where he won't care anymore. And he'll just farm up, push. Maybe they'll get some ganks with the silence and knock up. But she does have that safety where she can clone, kind of run wherever she wants to. So I'm wondering if they'll focus the top so Nico can get ahead, so she can just constantly push that lane in, get lane dominance, and try to just keep split pushing, because she splits push really well against turrets. The AP, because the third hit on her W.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they're going to do that or no. I guess we're into the game.
Well, we are going to find out as we are into week number 4, game 1, Mikasa Dudes versus Cloud9. And go ahead and throw in that Twitch chat who you think is going to win, and let us know so that we can follow up afterward and see who was right out of you lovely fans in the audience. And Proden, I agree with your assessment of trying to get B mad ahead, because Calavir will be able to pressure One Bear. We talked about that already. Lucian will be able to bully the Anivia, and the bottom lane is just going to be this weird sit back and scale. So I want to see the action on the top, because either one of these laners will indeed take over the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think the easiest lane would probably be Cho'Gath to gank. Most likely Anivia's I don't know. Mr. Womber's aggressive. Most likely,
That is
Nivea
true.
just wants to farm. And then at level 3, it'll be a little bit harder to gank because of the wall. So I think the top lane's the easiest place to gank. I mean, you can still gank bot lane, but early you do have the CC from Rel, and Ezreal can just kind of jump away. So I think the easiest place would be to gank, but I mean, that just depends how they want to play it.
So it looks like we're about 50-50. Oh, never mind, because here, first gank, Calavir will use the Relentless Pursuit to jump away, but JBJ getting a really good first gank here.
See,
no summoner spells blown, though.
I think that's a kill. I don't think there was any communication on that, because that should have been an easy stun from Anivia with the knock-up right there, had Bear been in position. So I'm wondering if he, he was just going to come in and chunk him out to help take a little of that lane pressure off, and he wasn't going to try for the kill. But yeah, that could have been a kill if he was up just a little bit closer. I mean, it was a good gank, though. It definitely relieved lane pressure.
Yeah, especially with... So one of my favorite things to do is use the red buff auto attack to get the initial slow and the burn, and then it's easier to line up that EQ combo. So I wonder if maybe JBJ had no choice but to start that because, he was so far away, and OneBear did have to farm up those minions.
Oh, nice knock-up. Good trade right there. He doesn't even answer back, just chinks like over a third of B-Mad's health.
Speaking of B-Mad, JBJ up top again burns his flash. And that's 2 ganks in 3 minutes from the Mikasa Dudes jungler. And Calavir is going onto OneBear, gets really close. Samuel Gray wants to engage, gets the stun onto Big Ben. That's a nice Justice Punch to disengage. And look at the damage coming out of Candy Bar. Fortnite Aimer going to take a couple of shots, and they are still going. Cloud9 pushing forward. Fortnite Aimer going to jump away. In goes Samuel Gray. He is taunted. He is exhausted. Ignite is down. The damage is not enough. Fortnite Aimer wants to get the kill onto Big Ben as Ignite, does go down, and that was crazy to watch here in the bottom side where we thought it was going to be much, much more calm.
The fights are going like I thought they would. It would be supports just diving in on each other, trying to kill, because the other two can just farm so safely. So, oh man, then
there's that trade you were
B-Mad
talking
is
about.
losing these trades very badly up here. And Cho'Gath just has built-in sustain, so if he's able to just farm and you can't make him afraid to step up, if you're not doing enough damage to him, or he's not going to step up and get those hits, he's just going to sustain health back up, and you're not going to be able to take him out of the lane. You have to threaten Cho'Gath enough that he can't just free farm and heal himself off killing minions, because that's what his passive does. It restores a decent amount of health and a little bit of mana. The mana is nothing super, but it does help.
Right, and that's actually what I was going to say, was it's not just health. Like, we have champions like Nasus and Kindred who have heals built into their kit, but it's a lot more constant, and it's only health, whereas Cho'Gath actually does get mana back.
See the trade there? Cho'Gath can't walk up and farm now, so he can't heal. He has to leave lane, so that's a really good trade.
Good trade coming out of Calavir here. Nethermorn is on the front line. Flash is traded, and I think you do trade that every time, because
if
Olaf is... Oh! Well, you don't trade for that.
I looked away from the monitor for 1 second.
You know what? And that's okay, because we got to see a great gank coming out of Nethermorn, burning the flash, but this is what I was talking about. JBJ on this Jarvan, just doing the right things. He does play this champion quite well, and I'm excited to see it again.
Oh man, that bloom hitting, it just all three procs of it just chunks you really hard if you get hit by that. I mean, you can't win the trades like that. Like, you got to definitely get the trades where he's getting that silence knockup. If you want to win them, because she can't directly trade. What I was gonna say though about the mid here is, I think he definitely agree he has to flash there, because if he doesn't flash, the egg isn't under the turret.
Oh, but that's going down. Calavir going to try and get enough damage here as OneBear is resurrecting. He does use the dash, but he doesn't dodge out the stun. Flashes forward, and Calavir gets a solo kill on Mr. OneBear in the middle. Meanwhile, topside! This man can't be stopped!
Awesome, yeah, and he goes back, and Nico's just hard shoving that lane with no flash. So, Jarvan can engage on you from quite a distance. So if you aren't able to, you'll get your clone right and go opposite direction. He's gonna knock you up, and you're gonna die right there, because you're gonna get knocked up again and then silenced, and you just pretty much just stand with your hands in your pockets and die.
Yeah, I think that's great. And like the other thing is I think we need to tell the League client to stop focusing on action and literally just follow JBJ around. Because every time we're looking at a different fight, he's like, come look at me. And like that's literally no one's fault. He's just playing so well.
Yeah,
and that's the aggression we talked about.
Oh, we got another gank on the bottom here.
In goes Big Ben. The taunt doesn't land. And that's really hard because it looks like it's going to hit, but it just barely doesn't.
You know what I was going to say is you were talking about their style changing, and this is actually different from Mikasa Dudes.
Oh.
This is a different style. Like, Mono is usually all about fighting and being in your face, right? He's actually farming and just making really good trades and not overstepping, right? And then the bot lane, not being overly aggressive and, you know, giving Jarvan a way to come in, some room to come in and get that gank and get that kill down on the bottom for him. Like, I really like how they're playing at the start of this game.
I agree with you. I hadn't been paying as close attention as I probably should have, but you bring up really, really good points. It is a much more reserved style, aside from allowing a jungler like Jarvan, who has such long gank potential, to do the heavy lifting. And that has cemented them about a 500 gold lead here on the side of Mikasa Dudes. They have a kill up. They have, let's take a look at farm here. They have slight leads in top and bottom, but only slight. I don't think they're even really worth calling home about. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. That was close.
I don't think it would have been a kill because his ultimate's not up, but it would have definitely been a nice chunk of health. Most likely Nico just roots him and gets away. But it still would have stopped the back and throw off the timing.
Right. And I think that's all you're really going for at that point. This is going to be Cloud9 with good push in the bottom, pressure in the mid lane rather, and that means they get this Drake for free. Nethermorn has been really good about his farm and his positioning because he is about 2 camps ahead of JBJ, but he's missing those kills though.
Look what Jarvan, look what Jimmy Boojaw and Mono are doing right now. How often do you see them trade like this and get the objective on the other side of the map? This is a lot better macro than we've seen from them the last couple of weeks. I really like the macro they're doing right now. You know, there's something going on the bottom lane. The other team has put resources down there, so you shift your resources and take what's open at top. And that's how you stay even in games like this. It's how you don't fall behind, is by, yeah, they take something, but we take something back and make an equal exchange.
Agreed. It is a lot of... See, I was actually talking with admin before the show about something very, very close to this, how people talk about high-pressure games or exciting games where it's like 1,000 kills and, you know, that's mostly what's happening. And from a spectator point of view, that can be true. But this is peak and exciting League of Legends as JBJ goes in again. Calavir is stuck in the Cataclysm, and JBJ picks up his second kill on his second gank to the mid lane.
That was a beautiful gank. Hits the wall, gets him to dash early so Jarvan can go in.
Ooh, but Magnet Storm cast here. Stun does go in. Candy Bar taken really low, as is Big Ben, but the disengage is enough. Ignite won't be quite sufficient to kill Candy Bar. That Summoner heal doing actually a decent amount of work, keeping Candy Bar alive.
Hey, don't worry, Rel took no damage.
I know, right?
I expected Rel to be chunked, and then I'm looking and I'm like, no, all that damage did nothing. Her shield blocked it off. Oh, I really like this use of the Herald right here. This is going to net them almost the entire turret.
Yeah. Nethermorn is going to give you chunked super low. He flashes out. In comes the Galio. Big Bane won't really accomplish much with it, but he keeps Nethermorn barely alive with that magic damage shield. And that, unfortunate from Cloud9, but really good for Mikasa Dudes because, like you said, they just wrecked that turret. There's barely a plate left, and, you know, JBJ already gave One Bear a chance back into the lane.
Yeah, look at JBJ's kill participation.
Yeah.
100%.
It's beautiful.
I mean, that does, like I'm saying, these guys are playing a much more macro-oriented game. Like, it's actually really awesome to see their playstyle change.
Agreed. And to see the fruits of it, because they are ahead now. They have that 2,000 gold. They almost took first turret. They're 2 kills up, but Nethermorn is up on the top side here. Be Mad had to flash. Mono has his available. what will be the outcome of this gank. Mono will get rooted. Nethermorn goes into the Ragnarok. He has the damage, and Mono wasn't necessarily too far. Oh, but he flashes the wall! Oh! Calavir jumps in with the Relentless Pursuit and the culling damage coming out of B-Mad, and it takes 3, but they slay the Jurassic Terror in the top lane.
Look at JBJ. He's on the bottom right now looking to get that trade. Because, you know, all the resources top, like we're saying, he's looking bottom now. They are extended forward.
I like it.
And Mr. One Bear punishes their own by getting the first turret goal.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving it. I think that we have seen the improvement we talked about from Mikasa Dudes, but I also, we need to be fair here because a lot of good stuff is happening for Cloud9 as well. They are being more proactive than we've seen them. Candy Bar is in a lot of trouble. One more hit, he jumps back away, tries to deal with what damage he can. Fortnite Aimer will pick up the kill, and that engage from Samuel Gray was pretty great. Another fight up on the top side as B-Mad has to fight Mr. One Bear. He does pick up the shield from using the ultimate, but one more E says One Bear picks up his kill this game. Nethermorn wants to go in. He doesn't have the Ragnarok or the Flash.
Yeah, the one thing I did see Cloud9 do is fight Mono has been playing extremely safe in the top lane. He hasn't been overextending.
Nethermorn is gonna die here. That's unfortunate. Safe in the top lane. Or did we see another one? He went back. Big Ben went back. Fortnite Aimer. Oh no, he's gonna go down! No, Samuel Gray. He blocks the ace in the hole, and Fortnite Aimer lives another day, but only just.
Man, it's sometimes it's nice having
double
a tanky
teleport.
support.
Sorry to interrupt you one more time. B-Mad and Calavir are here. He goes into that clone. They are separated. Fortnite Aimer will get away. Samuel Gray will help set up the stun. B-Mad is trying to do the best that he can. That's a jump. Calavir is going to try and do the damage onto JBJ. He goes out of the Cataclysm, but is not able to get away from the sniper rifle of Candy Bar. Mono has made his way here to the bottom side, while all the while, One Bear is pushing up in the top.
Yeah, he's getting plates off that too, and he already got. I mean, he shared a little bit of those plates with the first turret, but he's getting almost another full turret plates.
Yeah.
Just to himself. Mr. One Bear, he's going to be quite rich after this.
He's a rich bird.
And then he did get the kill top as well.
True.
On the Nico, so now he's getting all those plates. He got mid tower, first tower. He got a whole another tower for himself. That's another 460 gold that he just picked off that tower right there.
It's a lot. And that helps cement Mikasa Dudes 4,000 gold in the lead. They are up 3 kills, but let's take a look here. Cloud9 going to be able to aggress onto this bottom turret. They have decent timing. They have 4 members down there, and they have also taken both of the first 2 Drakes.
What I was going to say earlier before we had all the fighting is I was going to say is like the first time that Mono actually overextended, Nethermorn was there to take advantage of that and gets a kill. I was going to say that was a nice rotation because he'd been playing so safe, he couldn't really get a gank on him. But as soon as he did, he was up there and he took advantage of that, got the flash and killed him. So that was a really good play on their part to get that off of him at the start.
I agree. And now, Proden, I thought I was losing my mind because I see 2 Lucians on the minimap, and then I realized, no, that's B-Mad being weird. Oh, JBJ gets the smite steal on the red buff from Nethermorn. They want to fight here. Nethermorn needs to get the damage he can. Calavir is on the back side.
Oh my.
B-Mad
that damage.
doesn't get enough. He does go down. One Bear wants to go in onto Calavir. Gets the slow. Gets the Cataclysm from JBJ. The damage is almost there. He makes it out alive. And that is a nice coordinated play coming out of Mikasa Dudes.
Look at Mr. One Bear's damage. He doesn't even have a completed item yet. He's got bits and pieces of multiple items.
And again, on the bottom side, more fights, more fights, more fights. Nethermorn trying to jump away, trying to get the angle on the blast cone, but the wall was in the way. Flash from One Bear, burning Nethermorns. He is so close, but One Bear will force him away. And Mikasa Dudes are taking control of this game pretty handily now.
Yeah, they had a small lead, and they have turned it into a large lead. They've just snowballed. They were like 2,000 gold. They had a lead. The game kind of settled, and now it's 30K to 22.5. They have an 8K lead.
Take a look here. 7,600 gold on One Bear. You talked about how rich he is, getting first turret, getting free plates on the top side, 2 kills, 2 assists. That's their lead. All of One Bear's money is the difference between these two teams.
Look how much gold he has on him. He hasn't went back since he's gotten these other kills and the plates. He's still in lane.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy. This is looking really good for Mikasa Dudes. I wonder what Cloud9 has in their pockets to... Oh, maybe it's ganking One Bear. Big Ben is going to get the exhaust down, taunt into the root. One Bear's going to go into the egg form, and that's 3 members. And there we go again, Proden. We talked about the over-aggression, the over-push, and One Bear gets punished.
Yeah, One Bear had 2,000 gold. He needs to go back and spend that gold. When you have 2,000 gold, you need to go back because you can buy something. Unless you're full inventory and you need to get a few hundred more gold to finish an item, you go back and buy because that gold does nothing for you in your pocket.
Right, that is true. And I think that's why a lot of people don't really put a whole lot of stock into gold leads. For example, right now 7,000 in the lead is Mikasa Dudes. But what advantage does that give them in terms of items? Because you need to have those, otherwise that gold means nothing. So we can see mythics already purchased for almost everybody, the 2 exceptions being Calavir and Fortnite Aimer, and I guess the 2 other members of Cloud9, where Nethermorn hasn't finished his Gorge Rinker yet, nor has Big Ben completed his. But another fight do we see, Nethermorn versus B-Mad on his side. This is going to be a big fight. Drake up in a minute 10. I don't think that's what they're fighting over. It's just over this blue buff.
I don't think they're gonna try to stop the blue buff. I don't think it's worth it, especially when Anivia's top and Fortnite Aimer is in the mid lane. You're most likely going to lose that fight.
Yeah.
5v3, because most of your money is most of your lead wasn't there. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I like One Bear doing the split pushing. This is a great strategy because when we talked about Anivia as a champion last week, we talked about just how easy it is for this champion to stave off aggression, right? You have your wall, you have your stun, and so that's a great side laner. And especially with the lead that One Bear has, it's a great place for him to be, setting up these plays, taking turrets and such.
And they definitely do not want them to get to 3 dragons here. They want to fight over this one. They've already got it set up. They have position now. Is One Bear going to actually TP down, or is he going to keep pushing the aggression in the top?
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, if they really want to make sure they get this dragon, I hope, I don't know if you want to just call him down now and not use the TP, but it looks like he's just going to stay there.
Well, both members have their teleports available. Nethermorn is trying to get in. That is the first teleport coming out of B-Mad. In goes Nethermorn. He has to use the Ragnarok. He is unstoppable, but it does go over to Mikasa Dude. Samuel Gray in the center will get knocked up with the heroic entrance. A lot of damage. He doesn't go down quite yet. Nethermorn will kill him. Mono taking tons of damage on the backside. JBJ has to flash away. Big Ben goes into the stopwatch, but goes down almost instantly. One Bear is going to trap Candy Bar with the wall. Caught in a trap, but he gets a double kill with that massive crit. Fortnite Aimer jumps over the wall and takes out Calavir for a rampage. B-Mad is still alive, but only for the moment as JBJ chases him out.
Oh, the damage off of a One Bear, it's just too much.
Oh, he tried to get the sweeper but summoned the Herald.
Oh, no.
That's okay. It's about time to do that, right? It was going to run out. You have this tier 2. Mono's going to get that proc on there. That's a free turret right there.
Yeah, if you can get a full turret on your second Herald, I mean, that's actually that's exactly what you want. Because most of the time you summon the second Herald and you get a 3/4 of a turret and it doesn't go down.
Yeah.
So it's almost not really all that useful. When you get a full turret, you can feel like you actually used it the best you could. Well, of course, getting more turrets and just shoving down in all the way as far as you can. But in most circumstances, if you get a full turret, you're good to go.
I agree. I think that's a really good way of putting it, too. Some people don't even think the second Herald is worth it because there are no plates and you don't really typically get much off of it.
Because it's hard to get full value out of it. Like, you really do. I mean, even one tower isn't that great for a second Herald. If you can get 2 towers, or at least take a full one and chunk another one to almost dead, that's a pretty good value out of the second Herald.
They're really trying hard to go onto Fortnite Aimer. That was insane. They didn't use any big cooldowns on it, so I think it's okay. But now JBJ is here, and they need to step back a little bit.
And this gold has ballooned to about 10K now. They really can't take any just straight up fights. They have to get picks at this point, or they have to create pressure somewhere else and draw like multiple members over there. But if you do that, you're most likely just going to get engaged on because you cannot fight this team. Oh,
wow.
I
I thought that was the clone. Big Ben is going to be the next target. He doesn't have a taunt. He gets stunned, and there comes the damage. JBJ gets that one, and that's 2 free kills. Meanwhile, Mono's on the bottom side trying to fight Calavir, pushing in really well. Calavir going to use the calling but miss, and this is a really good opportunity for Mikasa Dudes to hit up that Baron.
Yeah, they can probably push all the outer towers down if they 1-3-1, or if they just 3-2, or excuse me, 4-1. You know, 4 mid, 1 bottom, or pop. They could honestly probably split it all the way up. You know, put 1-3-1 because they're so far ahead, and then just whoever you just play safe, whatever lane they try to go at, while the other one takes it. Like it's you pretty much have to group as 5 and just go on somebody, and you're gonna lose something at this point. You just have to engage on them when you have advantage.
I agree.
And that's the only way you're gonna come back, and you're only gonna slow it down slightly.
Right.
Because even if you were to get an ace, you're not gonna really get anything. Maybe you can push the lane out and get a turret, but you know, all your outer turrets are down right now. You're over 10,000 gold down. You need multiple aces, probably 3. Well, you'd actually would need Baron to be up, ace them, get Baron, and then hold out. I mean, it's so hard to come back from this lead. I'm just even talking about it, it's like it's such a mountain to climb.
Well, it's actually funny you say that because we are on the mountain rift with the dragons. So I think that's clever and funny. Good job to you.
Hey, you're welcome.
But it also has to do with death timers, right? Because we're still only 23 minutes in this game. That means that death timers aren't exceptionally long. They're longer, of course, but it's not like we're 35 minutes in the game and you have a 48-second death timer. With the timer so low, it's actually possible for them to come back up and disengage.
Chunked Olaf for half his life, just the Anivia ultimate and then the ice sickle just flying right at him, just half your life gone.
It feels bad, especially because we talked about the range from which Fortnite Aimer can do his damage, and that plus the Baron buff means they take Inhibitor Turret and Inhibitor. Do we see the aggression coming out here? Calavir is trapped in, will have to jump away. He survives, but they lose their Inhibitor.
Yeah, none of them have the damage to clear the Baron minions. They're so far behind. The Baron minions, they might as well be extra champions.
Ooh, flash from one bear saves him. Nethermorn caught by the wall once again. Huge damage. Mikasa Dudes doing their best efforts to end this game quick. That's 2 inhibitors down at only 24, almost 25 minutes. This lead is 12,000 in their favor. 8 out of 11 total turrets taken down. These guys are primed to take this game.
Yeah, they need to reset and end this game because you don't want them farming those super minion waves because it's just going to shove in constantly and you're actually going to lose 2 lanes of farm. So they need to all group bottom after they get this dragon and just shove to end the game.
So do they haven't taken any gold, but they did take, I want to say, they did take the 2 inhibitors. That means a minimum of 2 turrets, maybe 1 extra. And that's a lot of gold they can go back and spend, maybe get another legendary item in everybody's inventories before they do that big push.
Yeah, and one bear is huge. He has 3.5-ish items, an 8 stack on his ring. Yeah, I mean, they should be able to just push an end if they play this right. Because if anyone goes to answer those other super minion waves, I mean, you can't win a straight-up fight anyway without something happening, a mistake being made. by Mikasa dudes.
Oh, Be Mad wants to try. That's a stun onto Mono underneath the turret. Samuel Gray is taking turret aggro, trying to do the best he can. We see the fight up on the top side of the turret as JBJ also gets caught. Calavir has to flash away, gets out of the Cataclysm. JBJ is low. Ooh, nice stop there. Putting terrain down means Big Ben can't finish. He goes down, but underneath the turret is One Bear. One more shot, and that is a shutdown for Candy Bar. Damage now going down onto Nethermorn. Calavir going to try and do his best to save his friend. Candy Bar is doing the same, but both of them have gone down. Candy Bar going to shoot the bullet. It doesn't matter because Mono is disgustingly tanky, and that is the ace. Mikasa dudes have slain Cloud9, and with 30 seconds left on anyone who can really deal damage and try and stop them, that is going to do it for game number 1.
Yeah, that was a totally different play style from them. Like, it was all macro based, really. Like, you just rotate around the map, ganked really well on people overextending, even slightly out of position coming in. It was impressive to see them change their style instead of this just all in your face constantly. It was I liked it. It was a good change. I liked it.
Same here. I liked it as well. I want to commend the early game of Cloud9. Right? The Calavir didn't panic and flash on that first gank. He staved it off. They ended up with first blood. They ended up with first Drake.
Oh yeah.
That
was nice. He did 1v1 One Bear in the mid lane.
Yeah, exactly. And so commendations to Cloud9 for their early game, but it's that macro, man. JBJ on that Jarvan is terrifying. If you let him wander around the map, he'll get you.
Yeah, he was all over the place. If you walked too far forward, he was there. He was counter ganking. It was just making it really hard for Olaf to do his job. So
player of the game, I want to say goes to JBJ. Congrats on those of you who did vote for Mikasa Dudes as the winner of that one. We saw that about 50% when I asked at the beginning of the game. But that'll do it for game number 1. Game number 2, Proden?
Battle of Undefeated.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited. Okay. It is Gar Crush 2 versus Keep Your Summoners. So keep yourself close because game number 2 comes back right after this.
I'm ready.
Good. Welcome back, everybody, to the GameTyrant Esports Winter Series 2021. This is week number 4. We're setting up for Game 2 between two undefeated teams, Proden Garcrush 2 versus Keep Your Summoners.
Let's be a good one.
I agree.
Battle of the undefeateds.
Oh, man. I love watching teams like this play because it's just so thought out. It's so well prepped. And we're going to have to see if this is going to need to be a draft difference or an actual in-game difference between these teams because they look very similar in their level of skill so far in the tournament.
Yeah, but you can never tell until they actually play to see, who truly is the better team. I mean, maybe it'll be a close one the whole time. Maybe we'll just have like a tug of war back and forth, or one team might just get an advantage and roll with it.
Exactly.
Like if they're depending how good they are taking these advantages. Who has the better early game, would you say?
You know what? I would have to say Keep Your Summoners do because we actually talk about Garchomp playing Syndra in the mid lane for Garcrush 2, giving up 3 kills. I don't want to call anyone out. I don't think anyone on either of these teams is bad. I need that abundantly clear. But I legitimately think it's a strategy giving gold over to the other team so you can then take the shutdown because it's happened twice in a row, and I love it so much. But here we are into Pro Draft. Garcrush 2 versus Keep Your Summoners, 2 undefeated behemoths banning out the Terror of the Void first off away from Keep Your Summoners.
Good ban.
I agree. We talked about this. You and I talked exactly about this when prepping for last week's show, how you banned the Cho'Gath. I think it's just a great ban.
Well, look, and they're even pulling in a Nivea ban as well. You think they're looking for a run-at-you champ?
We'll see. I think that is entirely possible, but we'll see. I guess not. So typically we've been seeing
Now these are fast
Jungler's first picks. Yeah, I love it. These guys, they have the plans. They know what they don't want to see, and they know what they don't want to deal with. And so this first pick, Hecarim, I think he is an absurdly powerful jungler right now. Too much of the game is in his wheelhouse.
As soon as I say everything's fast, we're down to waiting for the first pick on it. So Keep Your Summoner.
You know what they call that?
Yeah, caster curse.
Caster curse. The Shadow Isles are coming in full force here as Thresh locked in for Keep Your Summoners. And I like this pick as well. He's a very versatile champion, has a lot to offer in the support position.
I wonder if we're going to see Sivir again in the bot lane with the Hecarim pick, because that's what they picked last week, if memory serves right.
No, it was Cloud9 who picked the Sivir.
Okay.
I did mention how much I wanted to see it with Hecarim or Udyr or anyone who has this absurd amount of movement speed, and then you run Predator on there with the Chem tank, and you just go at 1,500 miles an hour. I think that would be great.
So they banned a Nivea, and then you get the Olaf pick on Keep Your Summoner. Do you think they were prepared to have like a run at you champ like Olaf coming in? Is that maybe what they wanted to come in was Olaf?
I imagine so. So we talk how in smaller local tournaments, you don't really read the meta as much. But I really think that I know for a fact at least one on each of these teams has been in collegiate or higher and really has a deeper understanding of meta and the game. So we know that they will be paying a bit more attention because those champions are strong. They're better than other champions. And we can see that in the picks so far because Olaf and Hecarim are 2 of the top 4 or 5 junglers. Jarvan, Udyr, and Skarner being up there. And I like that a lot, actually.
That helps Olaf get in because Malphite goes in, knocks everyone up. It allows Olaf to just run in, get in, and start smacking people with the axes.
Yeah. I like it, too. I think Malphite is a very underrated champion. People think he's just an ult and a bunch of armor, but he is actually a lot more fun than that to pilot, to play, and to play against, in my opinion.
Getting a 5-man knock-up with a Malphite ult.
Oh, isn't it? I was playing with Admin Anonymous just the other day, and I got a 5-man ult, but I was surprised it was 5 men because I only knew that 2 of them were there. So I ulted into the brush to set up a nice little group fight, and they were all 5, and it surprised and killed me. It literally killed me. It was a mega disappointment. But yes, landing a 5-man knockup is great.
And the Gragas ban, Shen ban. Okay.
Those would be strong into the Malphite, I imagine.
Yeah, Shen just bullies a lot of champs
Mhm.
early. He just that percentage damage he does on hit when you drag the sword
Mhm.
through them. I mean, he can chunk you to half life real quick.
That is very true. And Gragas is becoming more and more popular in the top lane. We saw him in the jungle in the LCS just recently, but he had been a top lane for a
He
while.
Just received a nerf on this patch.
Ah.
LCS isn't playing on, but it's a mana nerf on his Q.
That's
which
why.
probably will make him not as prevalent in the top lane, because he was pretty highly picked. So it'll probably bring it down, so it's not you just picking every single game. It'll
Right.
be depending on matchups or whatever. Okay. Caitlyn Thresh is always a good lane if they lock it in. I like the Tristana, though. I was going to say Tristana Seraphine. I don't know where Seraphine's going to go, if it's going to be... I mean, Seraphine could technically go mid, support, bot.
Right.
Or Tristana could go bot or mid. So...
Mhm. Well, we should be able to figure it out here after the Ornn is locked in. There's only... pardon me. Wow. Only one more champion to pick here on the side of Garcrush 2. I like the Ornn pick into the Malphite. I think that it's a very safe pick. He is very durable. He gets so much extra armor and magic resistance from that passive. And he's also going to make the end game even more terrifying out of a Tristana.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's like what is about an average of 1,000 gold extra per item he upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that if you're getting 5,000 extra gold just because, that definitely helps your team get ahead in the late game.
So we have the same conundrum as last draft, where there is still a rock, paper, scissors of Seraphine, Tristana, Galio, and no way to decide where they're going to go. I love it. But, Vladimir. I like that. I like the hyper scaling that got picked there, because you have to be able to match the Tristana and the Ornn.
Oh yeah, Tristana's a late gaming champ. She's a hyper carry late game. And he puts that bomb on you, 2 auto attacks, you pretty much die if you're squishy.
Yeah. It's actually crazy, because I remember when Tristana didn't have a bomb.
Yeah, what was it? It was a burn, right?
It wasn't even a burn.
It wasn't.
I don't remember.
It would make it so you couldn't heal. You put it on them, and it would burn. I don't know. It's been too dang long. I can't remember what it was.
You're right. It has been too darn.
I used to love to play her into certain champs because you just couldn't heal when she'd hit you with it.
Mhm.
I'll have to look it up, but yeah, her bomb right now, she does a ton of burst damage. Like a level 2, Tristana can like half life you.
Yeah.
If she gets a full 4 auto attacks on you with that bomb, you can't trade her when she has her bomb up. Like there's a lot of matches mid lane that she not only does she push the wave from the explosive shot, she just nukes you if you try to trade with her. She just takes half your life because you exchanged a couple auto attacks.
Right. So here we are into the regular draft. It looks like we are in a... We're going to have to rebuild this, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay.
That was weird.
But that was in blind pick, and,
okay.
and we need to be in tournament draft so that we can pause. It is a thing, but that's okay, because we can still talk about it, because I want to theory craft what the draft will be for Garcrush, because we still, like I said, we have that rock, paper, scissors. So is it going to be the Galio support?
I think it is. 'Cause, I mean, we saw it go down there off the blind pick,
Mhm.
so I'm assuming it's going to be in the bot lane. So we're going to have Seraphine mid. I really hope... I know it's a great build, the Moonstone Renewer. I hate it, though, on her
Yeah,
her
you were
mid.
telling me
you
about
need,
that.
If you have... She's going mid, you really need the magic damage to me. Like, if you want to build that, go support. And I know it's a great build, but I really hate seeing her, because she's supposed to be a mid laner. Build some damage.
Okay.
Like, her mid-game from on damage is actually really good. Like, once you get a few items, she can actually just blow somebody up. Early game, you can't really blow people up. It's
Yeah.
not how her damage goes. But, yeah, when you get to the late game, if you get a squishy out and she hits you with her ult, and then she's the rest of her QE,
Mhm.
I mean, you kind of just die.
So which of the two champions, either the Tristana or the Seraphine, will do better into the Vladimir? Because they do still have that flexibility until the 20-second mark.
I think she'd be fine mid, because she just wave clear Vlad, and he try to launch, but he's not going to do it early.
Mhm.
And she's just going to out-wave clear you, and she's keep shoving you under lane, and so you can't really do anything with that. You have no wait for it.
Okay.
So you just get shoved under tower, and you have to hope to farm under tower efficiently.
That's true.
So you don't get to do anything.
So then is the Tristana against the Caitlyn Thresh? I know that Tristana has a great defense into Thresh with that rocket jump. Is that going to be a nice little thing? Because
early Caitlyn's going to control that lane.
That is true.
Tristana doesn't have the range. So it's going to be Caitlyn's game early. So Caitlyn definitely wants to get ahead and try to get that lead on Tristana. Because eventually Tristana, if you watched any LCS games today, the bomb on him, like, said 2 auto attacks, and you pretty much died. Like Sven went against the Tristana. They were in a fight top lane, put the bomb on, auto attack twice, then she almost died. Like, almost chunked her entire life bar down. So
it's scary.
Yeah. But Seraphine, as long as you just wave clear and play safe, because Seraphine doesn't have to win her lane. Like, her ultimate is one of the best ultimates in the game. So as long as you're not just paper mache because you're so far behind, you know, like, just farm your lane, get farm fed, and then you'll do what you need to do later on.
I like it. And it does look like you called that correctly, Proden. You are the new Prophet Proden, instead of Prophet Crumbs. I like it. And not only that, that sounds very similar to Ornn as a champion. If you just get to level 15 and give 2 items to your allies and use your ultimate, you win. Like, it's crazy how strong a champion can be without actually getting almost anything out of winning lanes or winning fights.
Definitely. Oh man, this bottom lane's going to be spicy. I know Spirit Breaker likes to get the kills early and be aggressive. I mean, he spaces really well, but he's definitely going to use his advantage of that range early. So I would suspect they'll rush for level 2 and they just try to keep Tristana off the wave.
Okay.
Try to keep that advantage is what I'm looking for. But then they need to watch out for the Hecarim ganks. Just
That's
good
true.
warding. Olaf's probably going to watch for an early gank down there. Seraphine should be able to play safe in that lane and just wave clear and stay back, depending on how Vlad plays it, if he wants to play up or get chunked. But I would suspect you're going to see both the junglers go top and bottom looking for ganks. Mid won't be as easy, especially early for either of them. So I'm assuming we're going to see a bot and a top focus. But I could be wrong. Maybe someone's overstepping in mid lane and
Right.
you do get a gank in there. So.
Well, especially if Alteris uses the Sanguine Pool aggressively, that opens the door for Cheesebreaker to just run at him.
Yeah.
That's a long cooldown, if I'm not mistaken, even late in the
I don't
game.
remember, but it's definitely up in the teens. I'd have to look at it. So it's pretty high. Seraphine, if Vlad plays right, I don't think Seraphine has the burst damage to kill him early, unless he's just taking like bad trades constantly. So I think it's going to be a farm lane, and Seraphine's most likely, Garchomp one is actually probably just going to shove him under. 'Cause that's what I would do in the situation.
So if you remember to last week, Garchomp was playing the Syndra and doing exactly that, just using all of the mana. And you commented on that. And I don't think you can get away with giving a kill or two to Vladimir like you could in the other matchup.
No, because then he just jumps into your backline and nukes Tristana and everybody, and Galio. Because Galio's not going to be the super tank mid lane, or the chunky bruiser mid laner as a support, right? He doesn't get the levels, he doesn't get the items, and he's not threatening damage-wise.
Right.
You know, unless he's getting a lot of kills, but it's not solo queued. He's normally going to go with a support build, so.
True.
And Seraphine, you do have to be very careful early, because she goes through mana like crazy until you get some items. So, I mean, what I would say, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a farm lane mid. You're just going to see wave shoved. Maybe once she hits 6, you'll see some roams. Top, you're probably going to see the noodle fight. Although Ornn does an amazing amount of damage with his fire breath.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask that. Are we going to see a double grasp fight? Is that pretty much what it's going to be?
Well, if Ornn hits him with the, what is that, the furnace breath?
Bellows breath.
The bellows breath. If he has that up, I don't think Malphite wins trades at all on that.
No.
If it's down, I think Malphite can trade with him. At least, you know, so I think you're going to see Ornn most likely controlling the lane. So we'll probably see ganks turning that around up there. But I think a lot of focus is going to be bot lane, especially because if you get Caitlyn ahead and she could just bully Tristana, it's going to be really hard for Tristana to do anything. And if Tristana gets to the point where Caitlyn, it doesn't matter anymore, she's just going to all in her. She just jumps on her, rocket jumps, drops the bomb on her, and blows her up. So I think it'll be interesting, though. I definitely think bottom lane will be pushing.
Yeah, and it should, because you can have Thresh in those brushes, threatening a flay, threatening a death sentence, especially if you have the Hex Flash. You can really just jump in and flay without people being able to react. I think that's a really great tool, and that is a green light for Olaf to come around that bend from the tri-brush and fill out the gank.
Yeah,
but
I wonder if we'll see some turret dives down there. If we do get a push and they'd get like a double stacked wave, if we see him go down there and dive. You have to be careful, though. It is Galio.
It is Galio.
And Tristana can jump away, but if you play it right, you can do it.
Especially with the Lantern. That Dark Passage will save so much.
So it'll be interesting. I do want to see how hard the lanes push, because Tristana can also push the lane.
Yeah, just by nature.
Caitlyn has, she can fire and clear it a lot quicker and do a lot more damage. I can't remember what the name of the ability is on our Q.
Piltover Peacemaker.
Yeah, see, you know that more.
It's too long, man. It's too long. Call it the Caitlyn Q.
So yeah, that'll help push the wave, because Tristana actually has to just straight up auto attack the minions and kill them with the shot to get the push. It's a lot easier for Caitlyn to push early.
That is true, and I like the scaling game. I don't know why, but it intrigues me, because I love watching comeback stories, and here we are on Summoner's Rift. Gar Crush 2 versus Keep Your Summoners. 2 undefeated teams about to dethrone one.
Look at this invade. They're all the teams, they're all in the same area. And are they going to be able to come from behind and surprise them?
This is crazy. Crunky, he's going to get a ward over,
and
they see it. Okay. So what that means is someone gets 1 extra CS here, meaning they will hit level 2 first. And that's exciting. Did you see King Babe T drop a ward right there at the red buff?
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. I like that a lot, because League of Legends is about information. You can't do things if you don't know what's going on the map.
Well, that allows him to know if his red buff is being taken, so he can vertical jungle, which is, stay on that top side of the map, and then just go vertically into his jungle while he's taking yours in the bottom. You take his in the top.
Agreed. I don't know. I don't like vertical jungling personally. It's kind of to me, it's kind of like do you remember the wave swap or lane swap meta?
Yes.
Terrible
meta.
Awful that was.
Yeah, that was some of the most boring stuff ever.
Yeah, imagine that with turret plates. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it is the grasp fight up on the top side. 2 grasps
see,
of
he
the
just wins that trade with the Battle's Breath up.
Always. Like you said, it is incredible the amount of damage that Ornn does because of that Bella's Breath. And I like the sustain. You can already see the cookie in his inventory. Or I guess it's a biscuit, poro snack, whatever. I call it a cookie.
Yeah, see, they're getting that lane push in the bottom like I thought they would. They got that level 2, so now they have wave control. Tristana just has to wait for the wave to slowly push in.
Wow, look at this. Salmon Pony down basically 2 waves in farm. And oh man, that trick. Have you seen trying to land traps underneath the turret?
Oh yeah, you put him right behind the turret.
Yeah, so no one can see him. It's so dumb.
That's how I play him. Play her.
It's annoying is what it is. But this, like you said, everything is panning out pretty much how you predicted, Proden. We can see the shove here for Keep Your Summoners on the bottom side. Up top, the winner is Callista in those trades. Seraphine and Vlad are pretty even right now, but it does look like the shove is in Seraphine's favor.
Now they have to know Hecarim's down on this side of the map at this point in time.
In goes the Elite Mad Life. They get the taunt. They have damage onto Defu. In goes Cheesebreaker first. Blood on the Demon Pony. And that's exactly what we expected.
Yeah, the bottom lane did really good at stopping the wave from crashing in right there. I was going to say they really need to get that wave to crash in, because they're in a dangerous position to get ganked. And, Hecarim sees where it's frozen in front of that right there, and immediately comes and punishes for the overextend. I mean, they really, by that point in time, you've got to get it to crash in. You've got to push it hard. Because you should know at that point that Hecarim is going to be coming down to the bottom lane at that point in time. You haven't seen him like gank mid or top. You know he's full clearing towards bottom.
3v2, Cheesebreaker wants to go in, gets the knockback onto Crunky, has that red buff, they're healing, dealing damage. Elite Mad Life wants to go in, gets a taunt onto Crunky. Garchomp is trying to deal the damage. Burn, the flash, Ignite is down onto Crunky as well. And that's another victory there for Garcrush. Great aggression coming out of the jungler with the roam of the support.
Yeah, it was a good punish to get him there. Punish him for, being over there just not at the right time and getting his flash. And his, early game, Olaf really wants his flash because, he doesn't have his ult to get him out of CC or anything like that, so it's really important for him in the early game. And having to blow there kind of puts him at a disadvantage for, when Seraphine hits, level 6. If he's not level 6 himself, he's going to get C'd up and burst out.
So let me ask you this: am I reading it wrong, or are there still 4 charges on Crunky's smite item?
There is 4.
Is that because he just naturally wants to clear more with the autos, or is it not? Like, I've never understood that. It's so easy to get 5 smites in very early.
He might not have smited yet because he was looking to have to fight maybe Hecarim for something.
For
so
crabs.
He didn't use the smite up yet because he wanted to use it on the crab, or he used it just to take less damage during that fight right there.
Okay. I got you. It just, when I finally got to testing that new item, I thought about it. I was like, how does anybody not finish this? It's like the fastest, easiest thing if you're just clearing camps.
They're going for the early dragon right now, while bottom lane has the push.
I like that.
And
this is
mid.
good
See,
thinking.
like that gives them, with mid constantly pushing and then bot being able to push the lane like that, it gives them a lot of control for dragons.
And this was what we were talking about, Proden. Look at the finesse here from these two teams. Not a lot has gone wrong. Like, you lose first blood and you lose the first dragon and the flash, but all of that was kind of snowballed off of exactly what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah. And if there's a huge CS lead in the bottom right now, I mean, it's not going to be as big as long as Tristana can pick these up, but right now it's quite a big lead.
Teleport coming in. That's the Dark Passage. Ooh, but Flay stops the taunt from landing. Kalista really wanted to get in there. Has the Call of the Forge God ready.
They invested a lot for that. Ornn TP down to the bottom.
I don't know if I like that play. I like the thought, but I think it's a little too much.
Yeah, they needed to be pushed up where Tristana is right now if you were going to TP into the back right there. They were more to the middle of the lane. It's really hard to get in there with that TP because you have so much time if you see it. And there was a ward on that ward, so.
I haven't been next to a Seraphine before, but here we go. Call of the Forge God does get a double knock-up. Crunky is very low. He doesn't have his flash, remember. That is the ultimate out of Salmon Pony, but it is not enough. He gets knocked up, hit extra with the Bellows Breath, and Cheesebreaker will get that one. That's 2 more kills over to Garcrush for a blue buff.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have went that hard for a blue buff at that point in time.
Yeah.
And especially given another kill over to the pony. Hecarim is going to be, he's going to be pretty scary with 2 kills right now.
Yeah. Nightmare horse, man.
Yeah, ADC's worst nightmare. They just run in and they run you over and you don't even get to do anything.
So what's a worse nightmare for a bot lane marksman? Fed Hecarim or Fed Rengar?
Rengar, because he makes you jump out of your damn seat. Yeah. At least you can see the horse coming at you. I've had so many times that dude jumps out of a bush at me, and and just scares the crud out of me.
Yeah. I was just thinking that because I was able to play Rengar just the other day, and it was a lot of fun. I jokingly targeted someone because they were always too far up. And anyway, back to this game because we do have stuff to talk about. You mentioned the CS difference here on the bottom side. Spirit Breaker is ahead by 10.
We do have another gank coming in though.
Oh, indeed. And there we go. Elite Mad Life will get the taunt, and Defu in a lot of trouble. Cheesebreaker goes down here. Nice flash out of Spirit Breaker, trying to set the traps and deal the damage back. throwing down the ace in the hole. Elite Mad Life will absorb that, but ooh, Onslaught of Shadows goes underneath the turret. No flash, that is Summoner Heal. Spirit Breaker going to deal a lot of damage. We'll pick a kill back, and there is Crunky. Has to burn. The flash goes Elite Mad Life. King Babe T is going to get a lot of damage. Spirit Breaker trying to do the best he can, but that's 1 kill back for Keep Your Summoners.
Man, that was quite the turnaround on the horseshoe, going right back under the tower. I was kind of thinking, oh, don't do that.
Well, I think you do that until you notice that Crunky is there, but by that time it was too late. Crunky had already gone in.
I'm just saying, like, at this early in the game, taking 3 tower shots like that with...
Oh, flash into the death sentence. Damage going down onto King Babe T, but the taunt is there. Spirit Breaker taking a lot of damage. Babe T is super low. He's in the brush, but he won't be safe for long. Salmon Pony is here. Flash ultimate to get the unstoppable force. The damage is there. Elite Mad Life goes down, and Proden, one thought I had
I love that play.
I was thinking, we were talking about who has the better early game, how will this go, but I literally thought that what if both of these teams decide to go full GameTyrant esports fashion and just go nuts with the kills. We've seen teleports, flashes, and kills all over the map, and it looks great. Crunky versus Callista up on the top side. Crunky doesn't have the Ragnarok yet, but he sure as heck has the slows onto Callista. He is wise enough to know that Garchomp is missing from the mid lane, and he staves off the attack.
I love that TP. I like, and he just comes down there at the perfect time, realizes they overstayed. You know, they don't really think Malphite has his TP. He comes down there, just gets that easy double kill.
3 auto attacks plus the bomb. Make it 4, as Spirit Breaker is forced back once again.
Yeah,
wow.
Tristana's all in is pretty disgusting.
I agree. And I am loving comparing the CS and this game, because we're less than 1,000 between these teams with 3 kills plus a Drake, mind you. Oh, pardon me.
Yeah, that's you know, it's always interesting to see that you know, when the other team has so many more kills, the other one and the gold really isn't that big of a difference.
I'm trying to figure out where it's from though, because I guess it's the CS advantage on the bottom, but just the amount of value that Gar Crush is getting out of these Drakes too. They have the healing, they have the damage, and we have another Mountain Rift now alive here. I was trying to figure out a good way to say what I wanted to say, and it didn't work out. But we have another Mountain Rift, and that looks pretty fun. We're going to see which team will pick that up later in this game.
I think these top laners love the Mountain Rift. They're both just big meatballs. They'll be extra tanky. I mean, especially if, you know, I guess only one side can stack the 4, but...
Garchomp is in a lot of trouble. Ataris gets the Hemoplague down with the Ignite, and there's the solo kill. We talked about that. Ataris on the Vladimir, quite scary. He is a vampire after all.
No, he's not a vampire. He's a blood mage.
Whatever. I think he's a vampire. Salmon Pony is in a lot of trouble. He dodges it out with the unstoppable force. Salmon Pony gets the outplay from Callista. That was crazy. And we have heard
I've
from...
been corrected. He's a Hemomancer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Both go to the corner.
I love it. Okay, Hemomancer, Blood Wizard, it's all the same idea here. Crunky's going to get the crab, but Cheesebreaker's going to jump over. Oop! But unstoppable with the Ragnarok goes Crunky. He's going to try and get the slow. But, ooh, flash burned. He used it just a tad too early and will go down to Cheesebreaker because he flashed a knockup while he was still in the Ragnarok.
Look at the gold difference here with the 7 to 4 kills. Like, they were just 1,000 gold ahead, and now it's just great. I love how the gold can just swing around like this. You get these plates, and you get so much gold off the plates. It can really swing a game that's kind of getting out of hand for you back your way if you're just like focusing on your objectives when you can.
Yeah. And I think that's another really important thing to bring up when talking mid to high level League of Legends, is it's about the objectives more than it is the kills and the fights. That's more fun to do and sometimes more fun to watch, but ooh, an engage here in the middle. Elite Mad Life does go down, but first turret goes to the hands of Guard Crush 2, and it's still within 1,000 gold, Proden.
Yeah, and look, it just swings back the other way almost just as much. It's just these little things in the game, you know, just getting that first turret, getting, you know, a shutdown gold, or just some plates can really, like, just keep the game close or really blow it apart.
Now that we're almost 14 minutes in, that means plates are about to go down. We can also start to see the first mythics, first completed items out of, firstly, the top laners, and you can see the Gore Drinker completed there for Crunky in the jungle. Bot laners need to go back after farming a little bit. You should see those in their inventories any minute. But we're starting to get to the exciting part of the game, and we're already 12 kills in.
Yeah, and the horse is a really big horse. That's a Clydesdale. But scarier.
Yeah, I mean, the Clydesdales are those big, thick horses that carry, or I guess pull the big wagons and stuff. So you have to imagine.
He's built the perfect item to go against the Olaf and the Malphite. It's a really good item in a tank. It has a percentage of their health. And it also heals you when you hit. So you get I mean, the heal isn't huge, but you do get a little bit of sustain plus the extra % health damage that's going to help him, pill through the other team. So even Vlad's going to get a lot of health just from his passive and the items he builds. So it's going to help him, get on Vlad and try to chunk him down as well.
Very, very wise. Great item pickup there. And it's a lot of fun to point those things out, especially with the introduction of mythics and the idea that some items can be just better. Give you things that you get just by having more legendaries. It's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that change to the game. I think it's something they've been missing for a while. Do they know he's there? Because that would be a mega bummer for Crunky. 4 members of Guard Crush. Oh, they saw him. Okay, but now that they know he's gone back, you see the missing ping. Do we see a dive in the middle? Because that would be great. Cheesebreaker is going to start the flank. Oh, but Defu's there. Onslaught of Shadows will get the fear, but after the Dark Passage has already saved him. But now Cheesebreaker might be in some trouble. Look at the damage coming out of Spirit Breaker there.
Yeah, both the ADCs are on the same item, but I'm pretty sure at this point in time, Tristana just out-trades Caitlyn. Just 1v1. Just her ability to trade with that bomb she puts on you, it's just so hard to win auto attack trade at this point in time.
Especially with the Hail of Blades and Tristana's Q.
Really helps the stacking.
Exactly. Well, you do have the lethal tempo there from Spirit Breaker, but it doesn't go as fast as the others. Defu in the front lines. They want to try and stop this dragon. It has spawned. That's a nice hook down onto the Elite Mad Life. He's going to try and suck up that honey fruit. They get a nice charm onto the combo. Defu will go down, but not before Ataris gets a kill on his own unstoppable force onto King Babe T. He's going to try and jump back, gets a lot of damage onto Spirit Breaker, has to flash away. Spirit flashes forward, picks up the double kill for himself. In goes the ace in the hole. Garchomp will be the next to fall. The Salmon Pony will pick that one up. Ataris on the chase. Callista will get away, but that was a fight from Keep Your Summoners from behind Proden.
I thought with Malphite kind of not being positioned to start with that they were just going to hard lose that fight because Seraphine got a pretty good ult across most of the team. And I was like, but they couldn't burst the Vladimir or the Caitlyn out. Like I thought one of them was going to die right away, but they were still alive, which gave enough time for Malphite to get in that position and get that really good ult that pretty much turned the fight around.
Yeah, huge. The unstoppable force was indeed unstoppable and made this team of Keep Your Summoners back in the game. Now almost 1,000 gold ahead. They pick up another turret on the bottom, or I guess their first turret on the bottom side, helping cement that to 1,500. But we're tied in kills and only 1 Drake apart now. And this, like I was saying, Proden, we are a kill a minute so far this game. But it is fascinating how coordinated these teams are and how unchaotic it actually has been.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a chaotic game like we get when the kill score is high. It's usually just people nonstop fighting.
Yeah.
But this hasn't been nonstop fighting. This is, there's been small trades, people didn't die, and then most of the time people are dying, it's from really good engages or people, out of position and it's being taken advantage of. It's not like a constant brawl going on.
Yeah. I love it. I think that this is all of you people at home, watch how these teams play because this is what League of Legends is supposed to be. But of course, you could also watch like LCS, LCK, LPL, LEC, and blah, blah, blah. A whole bunch of other acronyms. But watch local here. These guys are doing great. Second Rift Herald is on the menu. Cheesebreaker wants to go in onto Salmon Pony. Defu is running up, has the Dark Passage ready. Crunky going to take a ton of damage from King Babe T. Ace in the hole has been cast. That kill has gone in. A lot of damage down onto Crunky. He goes into the Ragnarok. Knockup is going to come out from Call of the Forge God. Ataris on the front lines with Salmon Pony trying to get the damage onto Callista. The Death Grasp, no, it's not called that. Death Sentence, Callista trying to do the best that he can. He will go down to Salmon Pony, and this is what we were talking about. These fights are epic.
Yeah, they focused Malphite there.
Yeah, well.
Like, yeah, you can't focus. That tank is too big. He's a beefy boy. You're not going to take him out at this point, especially when you have no magic damage.
Yeah.
Seraphine is building for support. She's not building to do any damage. So unless your fights are going to last a long time for Seraphine's Moonstone Renewer to actually heal your team up, you're not really going to do anything with this. Like, she doesn't threaten anyone. I mean, her ult is wonderful, but you got to make sure you hit Caitlyn and Vlad with it. You've got to blow them two up to win these fights because you have no magic damage.
And this game is getting more and more fascinating. We're now almost 20 minutes in. That means the Baron will be here in about 10 to 11 seconds. And it is a 2,000 gold difference now. Keep Your Summoners has that. And look at the Vladimir again. He is 3-0-4. He is going to be absolutely terrifying.
I'm just thinking, too, because they chose not to have Seraphine actually build to do some damage. Malphite's just going to stack armor.
Yeah.
He's going to have, what does he get up to, like 600 armor with his passive?
It's a big
If you just build straight armor, like, how is Tristana, like, going to hurt that guy? How is Hecarim going to hurt him once he just fully stacks armor? He doesn't care. He's going to ult the backline and kill everybody, and you'll never stop him. Like you said,
really
and
true.
he will be an unstoppable force.
Yeah, I think that's why they specifically called that spell that name. But it's fascinating to think about things like that because we already talked about how why would you not choose to have a high damage mage like Seraphine build damage in this scenario? Because you're putting all your eggs in the basket, and I don't even mind using the word eggs there. Garchomp. No, sorry, Cheesebreaker, rather. Nice knock-up. Ataris is in some trouble. He gets taunted, gets knocked back up with the Justice Punch, but his team is here. Salmon Pony will go in with the Unstoppable Force. The Elite Mad Life taking a lot of damage. Callista gets a knock-up. Death Sentence once again takes him up. He flashes, trying to do a little bit more. Spirit Breaker now on a rampage. Salmon Pony gonna be tanking up that turret because he is just straight armor. Cheesebreaker's going to make it out, but that's another great engage. King Babe T versus Crunky trying to deal the damage. Ragnarok is in. He goes over. Nice rocket jump away, but right into the waiting arms of Spirit Breaker. One more turret shot. It doesn't even matter. And Keep Your Summoners are going on to the Baron.
That turret was the tickle machine at that point in time against Malphite. He just didn't care. He's like, I don't care. I'll take 10 turret shots.
Watch Cheesebreaker. He doesn't have vision yet. He's going to prop this Scryer's Bloom. He doesn't have his ultimate. He has the Ghost, but he cannot get in, and that is the Baron. 22 minutes for Keep Your Summoners. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I understand Seraphine with that, but I think you really need some magic damage against this. I mean, especially when they pick a Malphite, you have to make him divert from his build.
Here he comes, speaking of Malphite. Oh, he didn't have ult. I thought that was going to be a fight. But they have to fight here because this will put Gar Crush at almost soul point, and it's going to divert Keep Your Summoners away from the lanes while they have the Baron buff, and I think that's really smart from them.
And Tristana hasn't been able, or King Babe T on Tristana hasn't been able to use, you know, the strength of her champion right now. She can't get in and do the damage that she wants to do.
With 4 meatballs and a Caitlyn.
Yeah.
I mean, to borrow a phrase from Captain Flowers, that's exactly what it is. And so here's the Dragon with the Baron buff. They know they also can't aggress. Cheesebreaker goes in. The smite is taken. Crunky will pick that one up. Salmon Pony wants to go in onto Garchomp. But instead of going ham, they know that they have the Baron buff and they have a minion wave here. Looks like Callista is able to give the upgrade to the Kraken Slayer.
Maybe if they can keep the game going, you know, long enough, because it's still fairly close that the Ornn items can start to kick in and kind of push things back in their direction. But right now they're on the back foot, and there's not much they can do to stop it with the Baron buff.
Right. Here we are, 23.5 minutes. Gold is about 6,000 in favor of Keep Your Summoners. Baron buff has been going for a minute and 3/4, let's say. They did manage to take 2 turrets. Cheesebreaker wants to go in. They don't get the stun onto Defu. In comes the call of the Forge Guard. A nice taunt. Salmon Pony gets out, but Defu does not. Crunky is the next target. He has to flash away.
Oh, that was a beautiful Seraphine ult. Catches 3 of them alone without Caitlyn.
Cheesebreaker. Ooh!
Caitlyn and Vlad, their big damage dealers are not there. Seraphine gets the 3-person ult, and they just clean that up and are able to push down and take this tower.
Look at this! This is so great, but now the Elite Mad Life is super low, and this is the team without Baron pushing.
See, I really like that play because they realize, you know, they've got to take advantages of when there's mistakes happening, right, to get this game back on their side. So what do? They immediately engage on all the tanky guys that don't have enough damage to stop what Tristana is going to do then, what Hecarim is going to do as he runs in. And Seraphine gets that ult, CCs them up. You know, Ornn with the great ultimate as well just funnels it right through, and they get just a massive amount of CC on them.
Looks really good. When you can layer like that, it's probably one of the best feelings in the game. I'm going to be honest. I think it's one of my favorites. But that just goes to show you just how close this game is despite the gold. Because, again, they hadn't gone back. They didn't have their damage dealers. And so this game is still on a knife's edge. But with Cheesebreaker here, he might be in some trouble. He has the Onslaught of Shadows, but won't need it as the death sentence goes wide. Yeah,
I really like how they played that. I'd like to see them do that. If they have in their team fight, I'd really like to see them get that Seraphine ult and that Ornn ult to line up, you know, on the carries. If you can get at least one of those carries burst out, you can win these fights. You blow the Vladimir up, you blow the Caitlyn up, you can probably win these fights again. And you're going to be able, all that CC is just so strong when you layer it on like that.
This actually goes, with you saying that, we can see Vladimir on the top side, so if you can just get the engage onto only one of them, just on the Caitlyn. But even during the laning phase, we saw just how carefully Defu and Spirit Breaker were when dealing with the waves. They did not over-push, and that is key, because if you over-push, you lose the advantage. And so the amount of restraint and self-control that all 10 of these players have been showing is masterful.
It is. I like it. And I know I complain about the Seraphine ult. It's really good, actually. I just don't like it. I know it's really good. That's my problem with it. It's really good. I just hate it.
So what else is fun is a group of friends and I decided to go all 5 Moonstone Renewers with just high crowd control, beefy characters. Oh boy, this is not good for King Babe T. Wow. Yeah.
He was vaporized.
That's, like, look at what Vladimir has there. He just jumps in, wrecks all of your magic resistance, and then lets that crit come through from Spirit Breaker. That was massive.
Yes, 12 stacks on the Magi's now.
Ooh.
And they really can't fight without Tristana. They need Tristana to sustain damage to win this. This team is built around letting Tristana do what she does.
Exactly. A lot of trouble here as Keep Your Summoners are aggressing heroically and demolishing that turret. They're going to get the inhibitor too, because like you said, there is no damage without the Tristana. And so wisely, Garcrush 2 decide not to continue the fight. Drake will be up in about 35 seconds here, and Keep Your Summoners are on the right track to take control of that area and keep their vision up. And especially with the attention that Garcrush is going to need to pay to the middle lane, they're primed to get their 3rd Drake.
Yeah, and if they get Mountain Soul, Keep Your Summoners gets Mountain Soul. Oh man, good luck killing anybody.
Yeah, and it's a great team composition. We need to discuss that because Malphite scales with the armor, but Defu also picking up souls gives him ability, power, and armor. Oh, but I like this. You trade 3rd Drake for the Baron. Look at Garcrush.
And they're just realizing it now.
Salmon Pony will be there in a moment, but what will he even be able to do? Does he start a fight? No, he starts a fight, and it doesn't work. He is crowd controlled to death. Deepu wants to go in. Elite Mad Life is going to try and ult. He gets knocked out of it. Kalista is now in trouble, has to flash away. Spirit Breaker goes godlike, picking up the kill on Cheesebreaker. King Babe T is now all alone in enemy territory. He has a flash. He has the blast cone. He's probably going to be able to get away using the enhanced. Nope. He is caught with that ward. Ataris is on a rampage. And
how does that ward see him?
Dude, ward angles are so silly.
What in the how does that ward see him? Riot, fix this. There's no way that should see him.
Yeah, it did though, and it got him.
See, there's a spot in the Baron pit too. You like if you put it in the right spot and you have a ward even just like in that front part. Squire's Broom?
Oh! Spirit Breaker popped the Scryer's Bloom, the little blue plant.
I didn't see it then.
Yeah.
I didn't see
I saw the eyes.
Did you see the eyes?
I saw the eyes,
okay.
but I thought
missed the eyes. Okay. That's
I thought
what
that
it was.
just meant that she was
Oh,
seeing.
well, it was fun complaining anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Scryer's Bloom, great. Using the tools on the map. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I did not see that. I was so like seeing if he was going to just throw a blind hook or whatever, but it was so on. I was like, wait a second. But no, okay, yeah, Squire's Boom.
So what I wanted to see was, instead of the fight there to try and blow up Salmon Pony, we already talked about just how tanky he is, stacking all that armor. He just got his 3rd Mountain Drake. Why do you want to fight that? Oh, in goes Cheesebreaker. We can't talk about it yet. That's a taunt onto Ataris, but that's okay. They have the nice, easy Lantern. Spirit Breaker's just going to tank a couple of shots here. They're going to take this turret. Crunky gets slowed. Unstoppable Force is ready from Salmon Pony.
And those super minions are pushing down the mid lane right now, so someone has to go answer that. Or they engage right here. If not, they're just going to lose this tower, even though they do have the Baron buff. The super minions are just going to smash those towers back behind them, so they either need to have somebody go back, or they need to engage.
Wait, what turret just went down?
Top. Or mid. No, which turret was it?
Yeah, what turret just died? It has to be top. It had to be Keep Your Summoner's top turret just went down. That's what happened. Okay. I read it wrong. I thought that it was the Super Minion taking out one of Gar Crush's, but that is not true.
Yeah, you confused me for a second. It's like, what?
Oh, he got the blue buff. Good job, Cheesebreaker. But Ataris will get out because he's Vladimir. He's a big, scary boy.
Yeah, good idea to turn around there. You don't win that one.
No. No, you really don't. Vladimir is petrifying. I'm going to say it. Like, he's no Cassiopeia, but he's petrifying.
God, you're killing me.
I even got production in the background, too. I heard our director laugh. It makes me feel real good inside.
Yeah.
I hope you laughed at home, too.
I saw our observer cringe.
No laughing matter. Let's take a look here. We're at 31.5 minutes with 31 kills in this game, Proden. The action has been incredible. 9 turrets are down. These teams are 4,000 gold apart. We have soul points on Keep Your Summoners, which is up in less than a minute and a half.
It's only around a 4,000 gold lead still.
Yeah. Really not that big of a difference. And these guys, all 10 of them performing admirably.
Look at the itemization Seraphine went for. Garchomp 1 has bought, it's the support item that puts Grievous Wounds.
Yeah.
So that's a really good buy because, Vladimir's not really going to auto-attack Ornn to get Grievous Wounds put on him. So that's a really good buy for her.
I like that with the introduction of so much healing and how big of a problem that was last season, they made Grievous Wounds so much stronger. Because you can already see it there in Spirit Breaker's inventory. That is the Mortal Reminder completed.
So I'm surprised that Salmon Pony actually got Magic Resist.
I think it was mostly for the movement speed. But at the same time, you can just use
I probably went for a Gargoyle. The extra shield, you get magic resist and armor.
Yeah.
It's a really good item. I think it's underrated.
I can agree with that. I think it's a really strong one. But I would have gone Dead Man's Plate because it also has that extra movement speed. It gives you the extra damage. It gives you the higher armor, which then in turn gives you bigger damage. Deepu gets the catch onto Kalista. And look at that. That's the extra healing. This is Soul Point. This is going to go in. Kalista is super low. Unstoppable Force. In comes Ataris. They are trying to fight split here. And one member has gone down so far from Garchomp 2. Ataris is still really healthy. Kalista trying to do the best he can. Ataris will pick up a double kill. Elite Madlife running away now. Garchomp on the backside going to do whatever he can. And it just wasn't enough. Salmon Pony is very, very strong. They're not going to even really be able to kill this guy. Look at that. He's not taking damage. He can't heal, but now taking turret shots, he might. Ataris is going to get into this fight and pick up another kill while the soul goes over to keep your summoners. Ataris is godlike.
Yeah, I think the movement speed is definitely what he liked about that item, because he pretty much just chased them down after they hit him so many times in his stacks.
Yeah, and Ataris goes legendary, man. He is so scary on this Hemomancer.
Well, and then they have the Dragon Soul now, so
yeah,
it's extremely hard to kill anybody with that extra shield, especially the tanks.
I think this is it. They have it in there. They have the shield. 3 members of Gark. Well, okay, Spirit Breaker's going to die, but there is no way to save this game. And at the end of 34.5 minutes, that is a victory for Keep Your Summoners over Crush 2.
That was the auto attack, so St. Tristana.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter at that point, but
what a game. That game was incredible. I was so pleased.
It was very close for
what
was going on. I mean, of course, at the end, it kind of blew up, but last time we were really paying attention, it was only 4,000.
Yeah.
It was the closest game we've had at that point in time in a while.
I think the mistake was the fight on Malphite after the Baron. Instead of engaging on him, just run away. You have the reduced timers. You leave one person there to kind of mess with him so he can't stop the rest of the
Vladimir
backs.
got a really good flank. He came in from behind.
Oh, he did teleport. That's right.
Yeah.
Did he teleport or did he just run? I think he was.
Well, I wasn't seeing if he was teleporting, but I know he came in from behind from the entrance.
Yeah, from the blue buff.
Yeah. So
that
he was
is
able
true.
to get a good flank.
That is true.
So yeah, it was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed
agree.
it. It was nice even seeing that when they were they layered their CC like they needed to, and that Tristana was able to do damage. She could still chop through the tanks. You know, if she had enough time, she could still get through them. But it's just so hard with these beef balls in front of you, and you're like the sole main form of damage to do it. Like, 'cause one mistake, and if you're not snowballing that lead and you're close like that, one mistake can really ruin it for you.
I agree. And just the itemization choices from Keep Your Summoners, I think, were exceptional. Did you see me completely blank there? The full armor Malphite, I think, worked great because the Seraphine was the only source of magic damage other than Galio. Both of them building support, so you weren't really going to do a whole lot.
He got a little bit at the end. That way she'd tickle instead of scratch.
Exactly. And then the Kraken Slayer rush for Caitlyn, getting those auto attacks and
that's a must for both of them in that game.
Yeah.
You got really tanky guys coming at you. You want that little bit of extra damage that's unmitigated. So
I love it. Well, what a wonderful game. And congratulations to Keep Your Summoners, GG to Crush 2. Congratulations to both of our winners, and well played to all 4 teams. Proden, I think that was a very successful, very wonderful week number 4. We saw a lot of good stuff on the
some
Rift
of the
today.
funnest games I've watched actually in this winter series.
Yeah,
those are really good games. I enjoyed them.
I agree, and we hope that you at home enjoyed them. And I don't think there's very much else to say. We got a lot of talking in during the game, so we're going to wrap it up here, everybody. But we want to remind you that we will be back next week with 2 more games with our teams, and that will be starting at 8 p.m. Mountain Time right here on twitch.tv/GameTyrant. Follow all of the GameTyrant social media, and everybody, I know we're all tired of hearing about it, but stay safe out there. We all want you to come back. We want you to enjoy watching this series. And so on behalf of, the GameTyrant Esports Winter Series, this little cast and crew production, the players, everybody involved, we want to say thank you and good night.